the competition. You are supposed to try to do some objects with regards to this. I mean, try out some pathfinding algorithms, try out some artificial intelligence, try out some tracking, try out some ways of moving around that could be very useful to you during the competition itself. Then, whatever your game they have in the competition, that means instead of a Pac-Man game, you change it to a platformer game. These things are still mostly there. You'll still be using more or less around the same kind of algorithm for your artificial intelligence. Alright? And a Pac-Man game has a selection screen and a lot of levels. This here is one level, which is just one maze. The idea is that because you are going to be working in teams of 4 to 5 people, you are going to try to divide the work up or segregate it up properly. You can't just have one guy doing all these coding by himself, while the others are just supporting him or just looking over each other. So Pac-Man is an example of level-based design, which means you can have 4 different team members doing 4 different levels for Pac-Man, while they are sharing the same underlying layer. These things here, you only have to do it once. Down here, they can share between their different levels. But yeah, all these things will be different depending on the level, which is what you guys will be doing. So with level-based design, you can have different members doing different things at the same time, and they're all working in parallel, and they're all progressing. But level-based design is only like 1/3 of the possible kind of game you can create. So you could be making an adventure game which would be slightly more integrated. Then you have to figure out how to divide the work up. So part of your design, you have to be thinking about how to divide the work. If it's all linear, that means one guy has to do all these things, or at least all these things have to be done in sequence, then it's too long. Get the idea. You try to make sure that your game design can be divided up into different tracks, so you can develop it in parallel. Alright. So what am I talking about? The underlying layers, the underlying mechanics that you're trying to be doing today. You have already tried the clipboard tutorial. You know how to do simple things now. Now, what am I trying to do is that the rest of the day you should be trying to do all these interesting things that will be very, very useful when you're actually on the day itself. Like how do you fire a missile and log onto a target? I mean, there's a lot of ways you can try to do this, and there are different ways it looks. I mean, you can have a tracking missile that tracks very, very well, and it's a very, very straightforward algorithm. That means no matter how you run around, the guy just keeps getting closer and closer and closer in a straight line path. Or you can have a tracking missile that looks very realistic. That means it literally sometimes you can evade it, and it's not moving very efficiently, or it has a weird weird way of moving and all that. You are trying to program these algorithms. These are the things you should be trying to do today, and it's very simple to demo. If you have, like, let's say you just make a gun sprite and a missile sprite, and then you can demo to everybody how your tracking missile works, and you can explain the code. And it's good because, I mean, even though it's nice that you can come up with a code and just keep it to yourself for some kind of advantage, but if we start sharing, right, by the end of the day, if 13 people have 13 new concepts, everybody learns all those 13 new concepts. And obviously, you go back home, you're going to come up with something else more unique on your own. But if you're going to try to keep this to yourself, by the end of the day, you only have one new concept. So ultimately, everybody loses if you try to keep it to yourself. So, I mean, here are 3 examples. You can try to do a pool snooker game trajectory. Very, very difficult, even though you have studied how to do balls and wall collisions and bounce off solid objects by now. But those who have done more tricking, they will know doing something like snooker game is very, very difficult, given what Gamemaker can do at this point. Because sometimes the ball cells stop for no particular reason. Then next is you have a maze. How do you do line of sight and detection? That means if you are hiding here, this guy can't see you, but this guy can see you. How do you do something like that? Effectively, I mean, everyone knows what the double space is actually shoot something at you. That's how line of sight works in real life. It's very ineffective. Then how are you going to do pathfinding? To call this guy, he knows where you are, but he's not in a straight line of sight. He's not in a straight path. How does he get to you? How does he find out what's the most efficient path? Why doesn't he just, go all around the rest of the maze and then come back to you? He knows what is the shortest path. How do you program things like this? You might think it's not very relevant, but once you know how to do something like this, you can actually do a lot of other things. Platformer, RTS, whatever, very useful. But if you don't know how to do something like this, then on the day itself, you will definitely be stuck somewhere. These are the three most simple and most commonly used things. Even though you are not thinking about maybe locking on the target, but the algorithm is very, very useful for a lot of other things. Alright? Because, well, you try doing locking on the target and you see what I mean. So basically, yeah, try to do these three things today, and as well as a lot of other, whatever interesting concepts you may have. Then we can share it every 1 or half an hour, or whenever somebody has made breakthrough. Or if you have a nice concept and you don't know how to do this, how to do it, you can ask us. Basically, we will ask you to present the concept on the whiteboard, and then let everybody look at it. And if nobody knows how to solve it, we'll help you solve it, or we'll tell you why it's not possible. Alright? So basically, the rest of today will be spent doing things like this. Alright? Okay, that's about it.